I am sharing with you some of my experiences from my recent holiday. 6 weeks, 6-week holiday. So that's what we're talking about today. If you joined me last week, that was my kind of first session back after my 6-week break. And I did say last week I'll be back this week to share with you my experiences from that and also the lessons and what that experience, what that break actually taught me. Okay, so that's what today's about. I'm sharing my experience with you of taking a 6-week holiday from my business, from Digital Yoga Academy. And this is the first time that this has happened, okay? It's the first time that I've been able to take an extended length of time off, because 6 weeks is a long time. And previous versions of me, okay, as the business owner would have completely freaked out, okay? I would not have even entertained taking 6 weeks off. So, I'm 5 years into growing Digital Yoga Academy, and of course I've had holidays, but I will be totally honest with you, I have always kept my eye on things when I've had time off, or I've set aside time to, check in with the team or check my inbox, maybe answer a few emails, write an email or two, and I've never completely switched off. And it's a problem, it's a problem as a business owner. I think about my business all the time, and maybe you guys can relate to this. And, so this experience, I guess, is a new experience for me as a business owner, as a CEO and a founder, which is exactly what all of you guys are. Only, we're at different stages in our business. So tell me in the chat, where are you in your business right now? Are you a new yoga teacher? Are you just starting out? Maybe you've been teaching for some time, but you've been teaching a studio and now you're wanting to build your own community. Perhaps you've been teaching for a long time, you've been running retreats, you have online programs. Tell me where you are right now in your business and what your business looks like. What are you creating and putting out there into the world? Because all of us here are at different stages in this journey. And that's fine, right? That's totally fine. Of course we are. And so, what I'm sharing with you today is possible for you at some point in your journey. There will be a day, like if you continue to grow your business where, you'll have a team, you'll have systems, and you'll be able to take time off and completely switch off eventually, whether that's for 6 weeks or a week, is up to you. But for me, I was heading back to the UK, not home, because now I call Bali my home, but back to the UK to visit friends, family. Some of them I hadn't seen for 2 years. I hadn't seen my mum for 3 years. Like, it's crazy. So it was really important that, it was really important for me to be able to take that time off and to have that quality time with my friends and with my family. So so there we go. I needed it. I really did need it, and it super was important. And there was a lot happening in that time. There was other things that were going on when I was back in the UK as well, and it really was essential that I was able to switch off as much as possible. And I did. I absolutely did, which was a little bit of a surprise, I've got to say. When I was there, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not really feeling the need to check in at the minute. I trust that everything's going smoothly. It's all everything's going as it should. And, I guess one of the things that I love most about having my own business is that I get to make up the rules, right? And you may have heard me say this to you guys before, like, you get to make the rules up, which is amazing. You don't get to make the rules up when you're in a 9 to 5. And so, I get to make up the rules. So I get to make that decision that I'll take 6 weeks off. And, taking an extended amount of time off really meant that I could allow myself to switch off. And, to stop thinking about the business or to stop thinking about the team and what's going on in Slack or the growth of the team. And usually, mentally, I can't turn that off, right? I can't. And, 6 weeks meant that I could actually mentally detach myself and not be continually checking in, which is probably what I would have been doing if it had just been a week or two. Because a week or two, just wasn't enough time to fully detach and to fully relax and disconnect and rest my brain, which is what I really needed. Just before the trip, we had just launched the Profitable Yoga Teacher program. And so we'd been through a launch period, and we'd had some changes in the team, and there was pressure going on in the team at the time. And so the timing of this break that I was able to take was actually, it was perfectly planned to come at the end of the launch, for me to be able to go and take that time off. And, there was some extra planning that we had to do in the team, and to ensure, that everything was covered for our new students that had come in. We'd had 100+ students come in, which from the outside might seem like a funny time to take a 6-week holiday, having a bunch of new students joining us. But actually, and this is the great thing about having an online business, okay? The program, the Profitable Yoga Teacher, has been running since 2018. So we are well rehearsed now. And, the content is created. We have co-coaches. We've got a team of other coaches that take some of the weekly live sessions alongside myself. We kind of take it in turns. So I was able to kick those sessions off when I was in Bali before I left. And then whilst I was away, we planned the schedule so that the coaches were taking those sessions. And of course, we have the team, the support team in the Facebook group, so the students that had come in, they still, getting the support they need. In the back end, emails and everything are automated. Everything was good to go, so actually it was a fantastic time to take a break. And, this might sound crazy, and I get it, because I would have said it was crazy not too long ago myself. But when you love what you do, it almost seems like you don't want to take a step away from it. Tell me if that resonates. You kind of don't, because you love it so much, you don't want to take a step away. But if you don't, you burn out. You really do. And believe me, burnout is a real thing. I was super close to burnout before this break, I've got to say. There was a lot of stuff going on. And, when your brain starts to feel foggy and you really can't make decisions, your body is telling you need to slow down and you need to take a break. And sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to do that. So tell me if this is resonating with any of you. Who here is hustling and not taking a break, not taking any time out? And I'm not saying you have to go and take 6 weeks off. That's not what I'm saying. Remember, we're talking about the journey of a business owner, okay, which is what you are. You are a business owner, and we're all at different stages in our journey. And so, I want to come here today and really just inspire you, to show you what that journey can look like if you keep going, if you keep doing what it is that you're passionate about and what you love. And the problem with not taking time off is that, well, you end up not being any good to anyone, right? You end up, if you have a team, you're no good to them. And if you've got a community of students, you're no good to them either. The quality of your work that you're putting out, the way you start to show up online and be visible, your creativity, your productivity, it plummets, So it's not a good place to be. It really isn't, because then you start to feel like showing up is a struggle, right? And you start to almost, not despise it, maybe that's the wrong word, but it doesn't feel good. You start to kind of resent it in a way. So have a think, when was the last time that you took some time off? And did you fully switch off? Did you rest your brain, right? Did you fully switch off? Did you come back to your business feeling recharged? For me, the goal was really simple, actually. We'd 2022 has been a full-on year. You know, it's been a good year, it's been a fun year, but it's been full on. You know, multiple launches. We've been recruiting, you know, lots of changes in the team, stuff going on behind the scenes that you guys don't see. And so, you know, the goal for me really was to refuel like my energy and creativity so that my business, it can continue to thrive. And there were a few things that I did, okay? So there were a few things that happened to ensure that it went smoothly. And the first thing was really to prepare the team, okay? Give them plenty of time, let them know what was going on so that they could get their heads around what they'd be doing, like whilst I was away, and how things would be changing and working. And the other thing that happened is I put our OBM, our online business manager, Norcha, I put her in charge, okay? So she is our online business manager, and it's like an operational role, okay? It's kind of like a mix of team management, tech systems management, and, you know, project management. And she's amazing. She only joined the team in May, okay? So not that long ago, really. And she joined when we were in launch, basically. We were moving into launch of the Profitable Yoga Teachers. So she really had to just hit the ground running. And, you know, we were able to build up a lot of trust really quickly. You know, it was a very busy time. And when I think about, you know, the experience I've had with her and the team, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. Let's just say I did a very good job at hiring her, right? And, you know, that's another topic for another day, because recruitment, it definitely is another topic for another day. Building your team is challenging. You know, I'm just going to lay it out on the table and say what it is. It's challenging, guys. You know, my experience of hiring has probably been one of the most challenging parts of growing my business. And, you know, I've had to do a lot of growth myself, right, as a CEO. And, you know, what my role is in hiring. And I've also had to gain a lot of knowledge in order to do it in an effective way. You know, I actually worked with a coach, right, who specializes in this area last year, at the beginning of the year. And Norcha really is the result of me working with that coach. So, you know, really being able to like take time off and not just take a holiday where you're kind of checking in, but like fully detach yourself is really dependent on having that solid team and someone that, you know, I could fully trust. And, you know, she actually said to me yesterday, she said that she is, hang on, where is it? She said she's grateful to me as I've allowed her to step into her role in a very empowering way. And, you know, I'm super grateful to her as well. I'm grateful to you, Norcha, so thank you so much. If you're watching, I'm sure you'll be watching it even now. Are you watching? Are you here? Are you here? Or maybe you're watching on the replay. But, you know, you'll see what I'm talking about here. You know, it's really about consistent learning, isn't it? You know, as I've mentioned already, like I'm 5 years in and I'm still learning. Like, I wasn't born a CEO or a great leader. Like I'm learning and I've had to learn and I'm still learning. And, you know, I seek coaches out and mentors and people who can help me when I know that I've got a gap. So, you know, obviously, like if you want your business to kind of continue, like whilst you're away, and for content to still be going out and for students to be looked after, like you need to have plans in place and you need to be able to make adjustments to how things work, and you need to have people there that you can trust, right? That you can trust to run the show whilst you're not there. So I guess like an example of those plans, which I kind of mentioned already, is an example of it is the schedule for the coaches kind of taking the sessions, because usually we take it kind of in turns. Like I'll do 1 week, and then the following week it'll be one of the coaches, then it would be me again, and then one of the coaches, and we work like that. So we were able to make some adjustments to kind of make it work for me, so that I could actually just step out for a little while. And yeah, so, you know, it's been really interesting in that respect. Like the planning up front is important. Like the same with content, right? So the same with content. So our social media manager, she had a little bit of additional work to do whilst I was away, because I had been, up until that point, doing the reels, right? So you guys have been following me on Instagram for a while. You'll know that I've been doing reels every day. I was doing reels every day, basically. So that's like me face to camera. But obviously, you know, when I was off, those reels weren't happening, but we were still putting reels out there. So, you know, she'd been kind of repurposing these lives that I do, taking clips and making them into reels, so that we still could pump the content out. And, you know, it's really about just doing that kind of planning up front, so that you feel confident that things are still happening whilst you're away. Okay, so what did I actually learn then? That's what this session is actually about, the things that I learned. So I've shared with you a little bit about the planning that went into it, and, you know, why it's kind of so important. And we've talked about, you know, how all of us are at different stages in our journeys. So you might not be thinking right now about taking 6 weeks off work out of your business. But, you know, this is something to think about in the future, and it's good to really, you know, step into the visionary of your business and understand where you're taking it. Like, what does it look like in 5 years' time? Like, what might that team look like? Maybe you've got a VA that you work with now who supports you for a few hours each week. But how might that grow? How might that develop as your business grows? Okay, so lesson number one is that it really hit home that it's possible for me to take time off and truly switch off, you know? So I knew that, you know, that was what I was aiming for, essentially. But the reality of it, that it was actually happening, really did hit me hard, you know? So I said earlier, you know, I thought that I would be kind of checking in and stuff, but actually I didn't. And that was kind of like a big, like, I don't know, it was like a big aha moment, we'll call it, you know, and it made me super proud, because it really felt like a marker of success for me. You know, I've worked so hard really since 2015. Like when I left my 9 to 5 and became a yoga teacher and set up my classes and events and retreats, I've not stopped really, you know, I've not, and I've hustled hard, but I've really loved every moment of it. And as I said, there's been burnout along the way, but I've loved it, you know. It's my life, it's part of my life. And, you know, even like setting up Digital Yoga Academy, the businesses have always been like constantly on my mind, so switching off has never really happened until now. So this was really a huge marker of success for me, and freedom, really, you know, this is freedom. And, you know, which is one of the reasons why having an online business is so important. You know, we talked about this last week, didn't we? I asked you guys, like, what does that actually mean to you, you know, to have that freedom? And so I guess that's like this lesson, or this kind of hitting home, probably what I want to call it. It's like something that really did hit home for me. You know, that message that I share with all of you about growing an online business and the freedom that it gives you. You know, I really experienced it at a deeper level. And I know that that is available for you too, right? It's totally possible for you too. If you're consistent, you know, if you keep going, if you don't give up, if you stay true to your purpose, you know, your reason for doing this. And, you know, I'll tell you, it's not just about freedom, but it's about the impact that you're going to create, because that truly is what's going to keep you going, like getting you through the ups and the downs. It's connecting to your impact, right? I talk about this a lot. Of course, this online business gives you freedom, can you hear that's my cat. He wants to come in. This online business that you build, like, it gives you freedom. It does, eventually. It might not feel like it in the beginning because there's a lot to do, of course, but it does, you know, and if you stay connected to your purpose, the impact that you want to create, you're going to get there, guys. I promise you really, really will. And, you know, as I said, a great team and systems in the back end make it all possible too. And I mean, this is really why I wanted to share this with you guys today. You know, I want to educate you, of course, but I want to inspire you as well. I want to really show you what's possible. Like, when you stay on that path, this stuff is possible. You know, we're not just talking about it. It actually can happen. And so, yeah, so lesson 2, let's move on to lesson 2. Lesson 2 is really about the importance of systems, right? Systems, automation, and evergreen products. Hands up. Who knows what I mean by that when I say evergreen products? This is really what keeps the cogs like turning, right? And the money flowing. And you know, we've spent a lot of time in our back end, you know, with the back end systems, and you know, really looking at how we can automate things and have processes in place. And you know, if I had known how much all of that would actually liberate me in this way, like, I would have tidied up the back end sooner. A lot sooner. And there's still improvements to be made, like, definitely 100%. There's still improvements to be made, but you know, especially when you're taking this downtime, it's important that you have some systems in place, right? That you set up some processes, some automations. Like, they don't have to be super complex, but some simple automations that are going to help you to relax a little bit more. And so, you know, taking time off, it didn't mean that the income stopped, right? Again, like, going back to lesson 1, the first point, you know, having this online business, and particularly having online courses, you know, means that you do have income flowing in each month from those students that are on payment plans. Okay, so those students that pay, you know, on monthly payment plans, that income is going to keep coming in. But, you know, beyond that, you know, if we look beyond that, having an online course that you sell on evergreen, okay, which means that students can enroll at any time, okay, and these courses are, and excuse me if it's kind of going over the head a little bit now, but these courses are part of an email sales funnel, okay, which means that you can be creating new income streams whilst you're taking time off, okay? So we're not talking about the payment plans here. We're talking about people coming into your community, signing up for a freebie, getting the emails, hearing about your online offering that's available to them at any time, and then enrolling, okay? And new money coming in. So we have that, like, we have that in the business. Again, there's improvements to be made. There's always improvements to be made, right? We're always learning. But what I've learned here from this time off is that our evergreen strategy, okay, so the strategy that we have for those products that are available all year round, has a much bigger role in my business, right, than I first believed it to have. And that's exciting. Like, it's super exciting. It means that, yes, there's more work to be done, and the team know this. There's work to be done. There's some changes to be made, and I don't think I would have completely come to this if I hadn't had that 6 weeks away, right? To really kind of experience what evergreen means to me and within my business, or means to the business. So yeah, that was kind of eye-opening, really, and quite insightful. And I guess that takes me to point number 3, lesson number 3. And that again is about some aha moments, right? Some like epiphanies, let's call them, particularly towards the end of the 6 weeks. Yeah, aha moments about the team, decisions that I needed to make around the team, but also about the strategy, okay, and the direction for Digital Yoga Academy for the rest of the year and into 2023. My brain is buzzing with it right now. Like I said to Norcha today, I was like, it's all up here and I'm going to be getting it out. Right, we're going to be having some sessions, we're going to be meeting on Zoom, and we're going to be thrashing this out because it needs to come out. And so that would not have happened, hands down. I would not be feeling this inspired and invigorated about what's to come had I not taken this time away. So, you know, I think, super, like, just so many insights that have been able to come through. And also, like, going back to the team, you know, I've seen that they've had an opportunity to grow. Like, they've had an opportunity to develop, to take the lead. You know, whilst I've been away, they've been put in situations that they hadn't previously experienced, you know, because of my presence and control. So, you know, that's been a really positive experience for them and for all of us, really. It's shown me how I can, you know, delegate more and, you know, share more, give more ownership to the team on certain responsibilities and tasks. And then for the business, you know, we're using this time now to, like, for the rest of the year, to really kind of change up some of the direction, implement some new strategies, you know, bring in new team members, and really have like a reset of our foundations, right? Which is, again, just a different kind of move, a different move on the chessboard than, you know, than I would have taken prior to having this break. So we're not doing any more launches this year. We're not doing any more live launches this year. Like, I've created this space now to really expand and to like level up in the business. And the great thing about it is that I actually have the energy to do it. You know, I have the fuel to make it happen. And I know in my heart that this new direction, like, it wouldn't have happened otherwise. You know, it wouldn't have happened, at least not now. You know, it really requires a new level of energy and perspective that I didn't have before my 6 weeks off. So yeah, it's been a positive experience overall, personally, for me, and, you know, for the team, and for you guys. You know, you may not be thinking right now about taking 6 weeks off. Certainly not. You know, that's not why I'm coming here today to say that to you. Definitely take some time off, right? Definitely. You know, you do need it. And, you know, if you're just joining now, you'll have to go and do a rewind. And I talked about that. You know, we need to make positive changes in how we work day in, day out, so that we can avoid burnout, right? We know that burnout is something that a lot of yoga teachers experience. Share with me in the chat if that's been you, if you've experienced burnout. And my, you know, having worked with hundreds, thousands of yoga teachers now over the last 5 years, I know that mainly that burnout comes from the hustle, right? The hustle of, you know, working in yoga studios, just working in yoga studios, you know, teaching 15, 20 classes a week, struggling to pay the bills, trying to say yes to every opportunity rather than being selective, putting more and more and more on your plate. You know, that isn't sustainable, we know that. And so this is why here at Digital Yoga Academy, we teach you to get yourself online and to really like diversify what you're offering and to start sharing your message, you know, around the world, reaching new people, and move away from like that mentality or that mindset of, you know, my business has to be drop-in classes or it has to be me teaching in a studio, and actually like opening up the box and, you know, thinking outside of the box as to what else you can create for your students to really take them on that, you know, on that deeper journey, which is what they're all crying out for right now. You know, the world really needs that. So, you know, I think you may not be thinking about taking 6 weeks off right now, and that's fine. And perhaps that feels completely crazy to think that things could still keep running without you there. But eventually it can. You know, it can. Like if you have the right systems, processes, if you have, you know, a dedicated team or a VA, if you've got a VA that supports you, like you can, it definitely can happen, and you can keep things ticking on, like whilst you have some downtime. And so, you know, it's going to look different for all of us. Of course it is. And it will take time, but it's possible. It's totally possible. Yeah, burned out right now. My flame is struggling. So what are you doing? What are you going to do to take some time for you to switch off? And, you know, if you do have a VA, start to really work at, you know, well, a really good thing, actually, I've done a podcast episode on this. I'm not sure of the number on the top of my head, but I've done a podcast episode about growing your team, right? Growing your team and like starting to work with a VA, and how you should really like look at the things that you do during the week. Look at all of those tasks, start to track those tasks. What are the most important ones? What are the ones that you can delegate? Where can you outsource? And you know, I think if you build up a relationship with a VA, they can start to take on some of those kind of more important tasks, so that you can take a few days off, or you can take a week off, or whatever it is, so that you can have that break and that downtime. So it's going to look different for all of us, you know, at different stages of our journey. Of course it is. And, you know, my goal really going forward is to work out like how I can build out a team that helps me to make myself dispensable, basically, you know, because like, you know, as your business grows and as it scales, and this could be a few years down the line, like depending on where you are right now, but we're in this for the long haul, aren't we? So it's all good where you are. You know, your success as a founder, as a CEO, as a yogipreneur, you know, as a yoga business owner, like it really has more to do with you building a business that runs smoothly without you, right? Than it does being dependent on you having to make every single decision, right? Does that make sense? So, you know, really it's about looking at what does that look like for me in the future. And it might feel like it's a long, long way off, and that's okay. But it's also okay to daydream a little, you know? Like, it's maybe not daydream, dream big. It's okay to dream big. It's okay to visualize yourself there. It's okay to think about what that might feel like, and what you know, might be doing, and what your team might look like, and what you might be offering. I encourage you to do that, guys. You know, sit with it. What does it feel like to be that visionary, to be that, you know, founder of I want to say multiple six-figure business, but that might not be your goal. Like whatever success means to you, like what does that feel like? Sit in it every single day, because I really believe that when you do that, you work towards it, your mindset shifts, and you start getting on that path to that success, like what that success really means to you. Okay, so my last piece of advice really for all of you, no matter where you are in your business, is to reframe downtime, reframe downtime, taking time off, reframe it as an investment in yourself and in your business, right? Rather than something that's, you know, taking away from your business. You taking time off is like taking away from it. Reframe it as an investment in you, and an investment in your business, and an investment in your team, like if you have one. You know, giving yourself this meaningful downtime will really allow you to come back stronger, and to come back more focused, yeah, energized, revived, invigorated, excited. And what I'll say is, you guys, all of you here, and I know that if you're here watching this or listening to this right now, that you are entrepreneurially driven, right? That's why you're in this community. And I know that you all put everything into what you're doing. Yeah, I know you're doing that. You're really like working your butts off. I see it. And so, you know, I commend you for that, truly, you know, for the time and energy and for showing up, being visible, even though, you know, you might be scared shitless, you know, that there's those fears of like going live. You're working through all of those things. And so, you know, be proud of yourself for that. But the thing is, you're also human, right? You're human and you need to take a break every once in a while. So let yourself have that. That's my final word on the matter. So I hope that has landed, or I hope it will land. You know, we hustle, 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 hustle. Take a break. Give yourself some time to recharge your batteries and get that fresh perspective. And yeah, that's it really today. That's what I wanted to share. So I hope that has landed well. I hope that it's inspired you to really start thinking about what your business could look like in the future and what you're working towards.